Okay, we have said to them, we're willing to meet you in the middle. If they are willing to meet us in the middle, then we can sit down and talk. If they're not ready to meet in the middle, if they're not. So, no, just to answer your question, are you willing to meet in the middle? If so, we can have a conversation. If not, I've returned your call. Yes, sir.
To follow up on that quickly, it's been 3 weeks since you made that offer, and if you haven't budged and he hasn't budged.
We're not budging. Understand this. Yes, ma'am.
Speaker Pelosi, you're going to speak with Mark Meadows today. Did he agree to come up $1 trillion in order to have this conversation?
No, it's not let me be really clear. If you watch this convention and you hear people say, oh, they don't have it, we have to have truth monitor, we have to do this and that because they're not telling the truth. That's the atmosphere in which he springs from. So when he comes to all of you and says, well, we were trying this and we're trying that, they're not trying anything. Okay? We have said to them, we're willing to meet you in the middle. That we think what we have in our bill, and our chairman, and I speak to them regularly, are committed to what we have in the bill to meet the public's needs. That's not what they are about. Understand that. So this is a conversation only to respect the fact that the president's representative, not even the lead negotiator, that would be Mnuchin. We consider, whatever his name is, what's his name? Meadows there is staffing Mr. Mnuchin. And if they are willing to meet us in the middle, then we can sit down and talk. So this is, you called me, I'm returning your call. Are you ready to bring much more money to the table to honor our heroes, our state and local workers, our healthcare workers, our first responders, our teachers, our sanitation, transportation, healthcare workers? That could be a very short conversation if they're not ready to meet in the middle, if they're not. And so it isn't, that should be very short. Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully they understand that if we're going to destroy this virus, we have to have sufficient funds to do so in terms of testing, tracing, and treating. That unless we support state and local government, millions more people will be unemployed. Millions. Over 1.5, close to 2 million have lost their jobs already because of the cost that they have, the outlays they've had to make because of the coronavirus, as well as revenue that they have lost. And now people are losing their jobs, and many more will unless we address the state and local. And again, in terms of so many other aspects of the legislation, as I said earlier, the most important thing right now, kids are going back to school one way or another. We must keep them safe. We must not say, as the Secretary of the Treasury has said, children should take risk. People do, astronauts do, you learn to ride a bike, you do. No, this is taking a risk with your life, your good health, and what you could bring home to others who may be more susceptible. We do not have shared values. That's why it's very hard to come to an agreement on this. I check in with my chairman. They say, I know you have to come down, but understand our number is a defensible, scientific, institutionally based justification for what the public needs, whether it's about schools and the rest, or people being evicted, or millions of children hungry in our country and the rest. So, no, just to answer your question, are you willing to meet in the middle? If so, we can have a conversation. If not, I've returned your call. Yes, sir.
To follow up on that quickly, it's been 3 weeks since you made that offer, and if you haven't budged and he hasn't budged.
We're not budging. Understand this.
Then how do you break the impasse?
They have to move. They have to move. Why should there be a bill that has far less what the public needs? We have that responsibility. And and they're just going to have to come up with more money. They didn't mind coming up with more money when they gave their tax cut to the top 1%, 83% of the benefits going to the top 1%, a tax bill that will cost at about $2 trillion to the national debt, a burden on our children, so that top 1% could get 83% of the benefits. We need a flood of money for this. We have a pandemic. We have a pandemic and the economic consequences of, again and again, bad numbers in terms of unemployment today. And they're coming in with an eyedropper. No. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Speaker, one of the items that Republicans are saying about the HEROES Act is it contains erroneous funds for such as money to illegal immigrants here in the United States. What's your reaction to that?
They're not telling the truth. I mean, let's just be clear. Let's not waste each other's time. They're not telling the truth. Any other questions?